Welcome to another installment of Cider Tasting 101. In this video, I'm going to turn it over to Nikki, who is a sommelier and our lead bar expert here at the Schilling Cider House, and she's going to walk you guys through tannins in cider.
All right, so we are going to be talking a little bit about tannin now. Tannin is a really important part of making balanced ciders. It can add a lot of complexity, and it can also just sort of like round out things that maybe would have been out of balance on their own. When we're talking about cider and tannin, we're talking about different apples that are providing different types of tannin. Cider apples are gonna hit you in a different spot in your mouth than like a dessert apple. But so tannin is, it's a phenol, and it provides an astringency and a bitterness. So when you have something that's got a lot of like sweetness or a lot of acidity onto it, having something that can kind of like bring it on home and rein all that in can be a really important thing to make a balanced product. These are 6 of my favorite examples of tannin and how it can be used really well to make a more complex and interesting end product. When it comes to tasting anything, I'm pretty much all about balance, so I think that these have all done a really nice job of integrating tannin into their balance, and all of them do it really, really differently too. So all of these are very unique from different parts of the world. We've got some stuff from France, we've got things that are from like Olympia, we've got stuff from Oregon, something from Asturias in northern Spain, stuff that's coming out of Michigan, and then Normandy. So when you're tasting, the way that tannin is going to be like make itself known to you is if you like rub your tongue along like the roof of your mouth, and there's kind of like a drying texture, or after you rinse something like through your mouth, you can feel it around your gums and your teeth, or a little bit of like a grippiness like on the edge of your tongue and around your teeth. It's just sort of, it just gives it some oomph. It's not like drinking apple juice at that point. Apple juice is kind of, you know, like flabby and a little bit boring, but being able to put something in there that just sort of like gives it structure is a really important thing. The stuff that Whitewood is letting out right now is incredibly balanced, and the texture of it is really incredible. All of the stuff that is coming from them is like really well balanced. It has a really nice texture, and there is like a nice lingering tannic note in your mouth, but it's not something that's overwhelming and dominating the rest of the cider. Moving on to the Virtue, and this guy has a beer brewing background and does a really nice job of like bringing that experience to making a really high quality cider that is balanced, and it's got some really nice earthy notes on it, very, very dry, and then like the tannin just kind of like brings everything together and makes it a well balanced and like quality product. When you're looking at stuff out of Spain, this one's from Asturias, which is the oldest documented cider making region in the world. A lot of these ciders really invoke like wanting to have certain foods with them, and that's another thing to keep in mind when you are working with something that's higher tannin. A lot of times, one of the best complements that you can get for that as far as food goes is something that's really high fat, like for instance like cheese, cured meat, olives, almonds, all those things like I kind of want every single time that I taste this. Easy Orchards is doing a really nice job with some English cider varietals. Just a really well-balanced product and a nice texture. It's really rich on the palate. They are doing like a traditional method fermentation on this one as well. Bordelet is probably like my favorite cider producer lately. Just really incredible ciders coming out of Normandy. He has a wine background and really uses his palate to try and make something that's incredibly well balanced, but the texture is probably the most striking thing for me, especially on these two. When you have something that's that well balanced in your mouth and it has such nice bubbles and everything, it's almost like gargling with velvet. When you look at something like you can even find single varietal stuff that can be really high in tannin. You're looking at a Wandering Aengus. This is Ashmead's Kernel, and that is from an heirloom varietal apple. It's actually sitting right here. And the tannin on that one is significantly different than something that's like, you know, made from, let's say, like Macintosh apples. Like if you're looking at the Montana Cider Works small batch, hit you in completely different places on your tongue. Tannin is crucial. You have to have a well-balanced product, and that means acidity, tannin, and alcohol or residual sugar. And you can't have something that is really complex and balanced unless all 3 of those things are present. I think of it like a bar stool with 3 legs, and if there's one that's missing, you're all wonky and you can't sit up straight. So thanks for watching, and if you want to learn more about balance in cider tasting and cider making, I would recommend watching the other 2 portions with Chris Passarelli, because he can definitely explain some bricks and acidity to you. If you want to try some things that you think might have some interesting tannins, you can always come down to the cider house and we will hook you up with a tasting so that you can try some things. So yeah, we'll see you guys down at the cider house.